Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you the best position to relieve piriformis syndrome pain within only a couple minutes. Hey everyone, I'm Sebastian at Performance Play Sports Care, part of local world famous chiropractors in Costa Mesa, California. Now, in order to do this, you're just going to need something like a pillow. Maybe in just a couple towels will work okay too, but generally it has to be built up a little bit. Now keep in mind, if you are dealing with something like piriformis tension, usually it presents as problems into the back side of the groin or the hip here. It usually is in this fashion down here. It is not the sit bone, it is not the upper glute, it is not around the front. And sometimes it does travel down the leg, but usually when involving down the leg, it's a little bit more of a possibility of nerve impingement at the piriformis or at the low back as well. A lot of times people will misinterpret lower back pain, radicular symptoms, pinched nerves from the spine as piriformis tension because it hurts in the area of the piriformis. However, if you are dealing with this, the best way to deal with it overall to make sure it doesn't come back is actually get yourself physically examined so you know what's going on. So without further ado, let's get into at least the position of comfort, we call it. Now the cool thing is, at least with letting the body help you find the best position of relief and tinkering with it a little bit, because this is not 100% set in stone position that works for everybody, is you let your pain be your guide. Meaning, if the default position that I start with here doesn't work, that's okay. That means you just slightly tinker with it. And so if I were dealing with this, what I would do is I would probably lie in bed, get nice and comfortable, and I would probably get a pillow or two and put it on my involved side thigh. Side of thigh, not under thigh, not calf, but on the side of the thigh. And I'm going to cock this leg down and just relax. Now, this doesn't always feel good right away, but what we're looking for to see is over the course of the next couple minutes, does this chill things down a little bit? If I were to stick my hand in a door and create pressure on my hand, taking your hand out of the door and just letting it settle for a couple minutes usually is enough to decrease the sensitivity. Now, one way to actually improve on this a little bit is tinkering a little bit with what the hip is doing in the exact hip position. I'll show you in this position or this angle that I'm in, then I'll change angles so you get a better reference point as well. So one thing you can do is slide the knee down. The other thing you can do is pull the leg up a little bit. The other things you can do is you can kick the foot out, or you can bring it a little bit closer to the other leg. Now, if you can notice too that my lower back is also arched here, although you may not actually have any lower back pain, arching the low back, what it does is it tilts the pelvis. The pelvis and hip work together. The piriformis is attached from the hip to the sacrum, which generally speaking is part of the pelvis. And so this arched back position may or may not work for your type of problem. So what you can do is you can tinker a little bit up here too. You can, I'll move my arm just so you can see, you can push your back gently towards the bed, or you can just let gravity let it pop up. Usually one of them I would pick for just a moment, take a couple breaths, take another breath, and just see how it sets with you. If it's generally not making things worse, then we can do a little bit more of that fine-tuned position. Something else we can do is let it pop up, take a couple breaths, and just see how that sets with you too. Now, although this position seems like it's really easy and simple, it works really well for a lot of people we see. Now, if this does not work for you, it doesn't mean there's other things that won't work for you. It just means that you need a little bit more further evaluation to figure out what will work for you versus you just guessing on things on YouTube. You can always contact us via the link description below the video, or we have a free webinar that pops up in the corner as well that you can learn a little bit more about your condition and what other attributes may be associated to it. Now, from this angle, I'm going to show you the same thing, but you can get a better reference point now. Okay. So the first thing, just notice that if I'm going to the first default position here, I'm going to let my leg fall, and it's just completely relaxed. Sometimes people have a little bit of apprehension with this where they're not completely comfortable with letting this slack happen. And if you look at my knee here on the pillow, it's kind of off of it slightly. Now this distance here is not really important, but it's the overall intention of holding on and not fully letting go, which sometimes ramps up people's symptoms. So the easiest thing to do is creep yourself into the position, start a little lower, let it completely fall, creep it a little higher after a couple minutes, let it fall, creep it a little higher, oh, it's too high, and then go down and then just let it relax. Okay? So this is the basic, we call it an offloader position. It slackens the sciatic nerve as it goes down into the leg. It also makes the piriformis muscle become kind of dormant, if you will. And if the sciatic nerve is passing directly through the heads of the muscle, it actually lets the muscle pucker a little bit and gives the nerve some reduction of pressure. Now this is from a discipline called neurodynamics. Not everybody will do it with you, but generally speaking, you can use something like letting your pain be your guide, which is a really helpful way to decrease the tension on the nerves. To be fair, not everybody has a neurodynamic or a nerve part of their piriformis condition, but a lot of you may, and a lot of you have probably read articles on that. If you guys have questions for us, or if you want direct suggestions about what to do, you can always reach out to us via the link in the description below. We have a lot of these videos on YouTube, but as we do get a lot of comments, it's hard to respond to all the comments because we don't get pinged with messages every single time. So if you want us to actually help you out, just reach to us directly, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you guys next time. We have a lot more videos about piriformis syndrome and piriformis tension on YouTube.